Welcome to Co-op Mode, round 56. This is the official video game podcast of Secret Friends Unite. I'm your host, Todd Oxtra, joined by the Canardian, Mark Carabin. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I'm really good. I'm, as always, excited to talk video games and excited that we have a special guest. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you. How are you?
Great.
Yes. So we have added to our co-op couch Angela Qustandi from Seasoned Gaming. Angela, you were highly recommended by Mr. Luke Lore. We are excited to have you on. First of all, give us your geek gaming origin.
Thank you so much for having me, by the way. I love Luke. He's a great guy. I started gaming, obviously this is aging myself, but I started gaming back in Atari days. So I was playing what was it called? Mega Mania, Kaboom, Fishing Derby. So I kind of grew up on those games, and then we pretty much had every single console since then, but primarily Nintendo. So I played Nintendo games up until I got a PS3. So I'm fairly new to quote unquote modern day gaming, but I have always been gaming.
Awesome.
Oh, that's awesome. My first console that I owned was the Atari 5200, which was not a very impressive thing because I think they had 12 games. So the 2600 got played a lot in our household as well. That's awesome. And so you are a contributing writer. So My wife was a journalist. She's a children's author, but she continues to tell me it's not easy. Ideas are simple. Execution is hard. So when it comes to this, how did you get started? Did you get to choose your work?
Well, I've always enjoyed writing. I studied English. I have an English degree. So it's something that I love and appreciate doing. And I thought, a little over a year ago, I thought, I want to have my own gaming website where I write articles and maybe review games. And so I wrote on Twitter, hey, can anyone help me with this? And then Seasoned Gaming reached out and said, hey, we have a website. You're more than welcome to, submit some of your work. So I did. And then I became a contributor, and I'm super happy to be on there because I love them. I do get to choose what I want to write. But we have a group chat where we kind of discuss who's going to do which reviews, and so that we're not all doing the same thing. I do admit that I haven't written anything in a little while. I need to get back onto that, but I will, I promise. But writing opinion pieces is so much easier than it is to write a review for a game. So I wanted to take a little break from game reviews.
Excellent. So we obviously can find your things at Seasoned Gaming. People can find out more about you because I like the little interview piece they did on you. So that's great. That kind of leads us into a question from my friend's daughter, Stella Nias. She loves gaming. She is a huge Minecraft fan. She really wants to get into modding, and it just it blows our mind away. My son Logan was so into this. He showed me everything they could do. But her question was, she wants to know what you think about the viewpoint. Is it changing to have non-male characters as the lead?
Yes, and I think that it's incredibly important that we have that. I like the idea with Ubisoft games, with Assassin's Creed, we kind of have the choice. You can choose male or female, whichever you like. Mm-hmm. I know that every time a game comes out with a female protagonist, there's always someone online, complaining, but I like it. I think it's really important. We have many games over the last few years that have had female protagonists. Horizon Zero Dawn. We've had The Last of Us. Part 2 has 2. Although, we won't get there. I have a lot to say about that game. But we have a lot of females as protagonists, and I think it's wonderful. I think like Lara Croft, we have strong females as leads, and I love that. I think it's great for especially young girls. They have something to look forward to play as, and hopefully those characters are a good role model for them as well.
I really like that we are getting that different representation, because there's a couple of things that I like to do when I'm playing video games, and it depends on the game or maybe sometimes how I'm feeling, but sometimes I want the character to be an avatar for me. So I want, I want to feel like I'm in the armor. I want to feel like I'm behind the gun or doing whatever. But other times I want to experience what it's like to be someone else, and experience things from a different perspective. And it's kind of like that role playing bit for me. So I love seeing a bit more diversity, a lot more diversity in games. And Assassin's Creed, it's really cool to see kind of the canonical version of a few recent characters be the female choice. And they have given you a choice, male or female, but even if you let, like in the newest Assassin's Creed game, if you let the Animus decide, it's female through the game, and it only switches to male when you're in those like kind of trippy whatever kind of sequences kind of thing, and then it flips over to male, and there's the canonical reasons for that. But it is kind of really, it's neat. It's cool to see that from others' perspectives. And I read something today that they were even considering adding a female Slayer to Doom, which I thought was kind of interesting, because you think of that, it's the Doom franchise is that kind of adrenaline, testosterone, like rip and tear kind of thing, and I kind of like to see what they do with a female Slayer, and just someone that's just going in there and just ripping and tearing right along with the best of them. I think that'd be really cool. But the director of the game said that they'd have to, and I don't know why, but they'd have to rethink the weapons and glory kills, or how it would impact that. But it might be just the way they said that kind of came off weird. Like they would want to change the style and change the weapons and like basically give another style of play, I guess. But the first time I read it, it was kind of like, well, are you saying like a female can't use a shotgun? What do you like? I don't know. It just came off really weird. So I don't know. I hope that's not what they meant. But
well, Mark,
anyway.
It's probably they want more stylish kills, because men are not very stylish. So they have a little more flair to it versus just just brute force, maybe. Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. We'll see. But I think the more choice, or even not choice. I appreciate a game that just says like, there's no male protagonist. It's female. You're this character. This is what. This is how we want to tell that story. And again, that's the difference between, choosing a narrative as someone, or that bit of role playing where you're putting yourself in the avatar's shoes. So, more diversity is always better.
And back to what you were saying, Mark, when I can choose my own characters, I always choose when I create a character, it's always a female. So it's just like, you are kind of playing as yourself when you're doing RPGs, aren't you?
Sometimes I've gone both, and in Immortals Phoenix Rising, like my character's female, just because I don't know if I was influenced by the cover art there, or I preferred the female model in that game or something. But playing through that game, it was female. My brother picked it up, and our characters are so different. Like his looks like almost Geralt of Rivia, just like it's white hair, and he's like this big, like Spartan looking like warrior dude kind of thing with like the big beard and stuff, and like I don't know, mine's like this red haired kind of badass Greek chick, and like it's very different.
Yeah, that's interesting in that game, because I will talk about that later. But I didn't even realize I know you could be a male, but they have not done any advertising or marketing for a male version. So it kind of seems like that male is the afterthought, just because they want to give you choice. So I like the fact that they can do that. Say, oh yeah, the guy, there's a dude. Be a dude if you want. But
it also kind of feels token. Like it feels, I don't know, like no one really bats an eye when there's a game that's, you're stuck with playing a male protagonist, but if you're stuck playing a female, it seems like they always like tack on the male option, just like they're scared or something. And I love when studios are just like, no, this is like you're playing as a female, like deal with it, and that's that. And but I wish more studios would kind of like just stop being so scared and just tell the story you want to without feeling the pressure to add a token male option.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think if they're going to do it, make either way have a point, right? Not just one is the afterthought. Make them both interesting, something like that. Kind of like Mass Effect, how that is finally developed, where Femme Shep, the female shepherd character, is now kind of basically iconic, and because people embrace that character so much, now she's available from the start in that iconic model, and that to me is fantastic, and that's how I'm going to play Mass Effect Legendary Edition when I do, and it'll be great. But I was thinking about this, the medium. Last episode, I played the medium, a female main character, very strong, telling a strong story, really, really well done. And I think of another game that, even though it's little 8-bit characters, it's Celeste. Celeste is an extremely strong female character. It's hard to see emotion in, like I said, an 8-bit character, but that story is very strong, but it's also gameplay that's very difficult. So you can feel like you're sorry, Stella. If you can feel like a badass, because your dad doesn't swear. Sorry. But you can feel like a badass.
Use that word on purpose.
Yeah, but that's a game also where you can just play it for the story if you want, or you can turn up the difficulty and go crazy. So there you go. So any, Angela, favorite female character in a game?
I might go with Lara Croft.
All right. The pixely one from the original version, or the more modern version?
Modern.
Right. All right. Have you seen that? No, I've not seen the Lara Croft movie, the newest version, but I've heard it's not bad. And basically, it's that. So have you seen that?
I haven't. I'm not much for movies. I much rather play video games.
I getcha. Yeah. Totally. It takes a lot more time takes up a lot more time. As I tell my friend who doesn't play video games at all, Charlie. I could watch a lot of movies over and over again, or I could play a game and get first. So that's my choice. Yeah, so awesome. Thank you for the answer to that, Stella. Obviously, ask us more questions.
I want to know Stella's favorite female video game character as well. I hope that she gets in touch and lets us know.
She listens with her dad, and I had to laugh. You'll like this, Mark. Henry told Sean that Charlie needs to take care of the language. It's too strong.
No.
Yes.
I keep having to put the explicit warning.
I know.
Chronicles. So maybe I'll try to curb that, and if I can catch a couple. I even did one on the last episode, so I'm sorry. I got really excited about Anakin Skywalker / Darth Vader doing a lot of really cool stuff. So I apologize for that. I'll have to watch it.
All right. Well, we're getting into the main meat of the show, and that is what we've been playing. So, Angela, what has got you excited in the world of gaming right now?
Well, I just went back to The Division 2, and it looks excellent on the Series X. Really enjoying playing through that again. I've been playing Call of Duty Cold War. It does have quite a bit of issues on Series X, but I still enjoy it. And then I just started playing Beyond Good and Evil. So it's kind of an old game.
Talk about another fantastic female character. That game is so good.
Yeah, I'm a little lost. I don't really know what I'm supposed to do next, but I'm getting.
Well, you're a photojournalist in that game, so just embrace it, right?
Yeah.
And your uncle the pig, and it's a great game.
So before we move on to anything else, I do want to ask about some of the issues for Call of Duty, because I haven't played the newest Call of Duty, but those games are usually kind of visual showcases. I've heard a few people say they're a great next gen visual showcase. They're one of the few games on Xbox that actually does cost more money for the next gen version, and it's not just smart delivery. So what kind of issues are you experiencing? I'm really curious about this, and kind of if it's impacting the game, or if you said you're still really enjoying it. So
I am, and I actually wrote the review for Season Gaming for Cold War for the campaign, and I unfortunately was not able to finish the campaign.
Oh no!
For my review, there was one point in the game where it just crashed, but it didn't just crash to the main home screen. It completely shut my Xbox down, and it did it over and over and over again. It was really frustrating, especially because I did pre-order and pay this extra $10 for this game, so $70, and I can't finish the campaign.
Wow.
I sidelined the game for a while. I went through Immortals, Phoenix Rising, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and then I circled back. And I was able to finish the campaign, which is amazing. Graphically, exactly what you said. It's an absolutely amazingly beautiful game. Graphics are top-notch. But playing the multiplayer, it crashes at least once per day.
Oof.
Usually when I'm in first place, you know.
Of course.
But
we'll get to gaming pet peeves later.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
just,
not being able to play your game because it crashes, that's like number one.
yeah, yes, exactly. That's on there. My thing is, don't brag about how much money you've made in microtransactions if you can't fix your damn game. So, yeah.
So from a review standpoint, how does something like that impact your review? Because that's the ultimate failure. In my opinion, right? If people can't play your game, it doesn't deserve a high rating because it's like, oh, I got 2 hours in, greatest 2 hours in the world, and that was it.
I know. And that's exactly it. I didn't want to give it a poor review because what I did play was enjoyable, because I did get almost to the end before it quit on me. It was very difficult because I wanted to be honest and say, hey, this game is broken. But at the same time, I wanted to say the part that does work is great. And I really should go back.
Yeah. And especially nowadays where you hope or assume, sometimes ridiculously, but for the most part, you kind of assume that these things are going to be fixed. You're playing a review copy. There might be a day one patch. There might be a day or a month one patch if this is a big problem that's not fixed day one. But the assumption would be usually for a big budget title, again, where they're bragging about how much they're making on microtransactions, that sucker's going to be patched. So how do you put a review out that's like, this was the best first 4 hours I've ever played it in years, and then the end literally shut my Xbox down repeatedly? Like, how do you like, that's got to be hard to balance.
Yeah. But what's funny is other people are having the exact same problem on the Series X. Even my brother, his was crashing in the same point. So it thankfully it wasn't just me, but it really was a widespread problem. And
wow.
The crashing in multiplayer now is very quite frustrating. There's issues sometimes with linking up with other friends, and I really would like to see them fix those problems, but I'm sure it will never happen.
That's
is
so
that
weird.
An Xbox problem, or are there other people?
Well, I played it. I beat it on the PlayStation 5, and I didn't have any issues. The one thing I've heard is that there's some issues with ray tracing. Like specifically, ray tracing is causing the game to have a lot of issues. So I don't know if I assume there's a way to turn off ray tracing in the menu. Maybe there isn't. I don't know. I didn't play it on Xbox, but wow, that's frustrating. Especially you want this to be your showcase game, and to charge $70 for something that's just, to me, I would hope they would be able to give you a discount, but I know there's this weird thing about gaming, like if you played more than 4 hours over 2 weeks, they don't let you, which is just a shame.
Yeah, and it's fine. I mean, I've definitely gotten my $70 worth out of it.
Man, I expected more rage, because I would be. Marcus Todd is not a forgiving gamer, so it's ready now. Yeah. Oh well.
It's fun. I mean, and the campaign is really great. There is a mission in there that's excellent. I don't want to give any spoilers, but
the branching paths are really cool too. You can go back and do different hits. It's really cool. I will say this: if you do eventually get to play it, at the end of the game, you can make a different choice.
Yes, I did finish it.
Okay.
I did.
You
finish
did? Okay.
Yeah, I went back and finished it. Yeah.
And did you do the other path too, or no?
No, just the one so far.
Oh, definitely do. And it allows you in the save file, which is great. They allow you to go back very quickly and to make that change if you want.
Okay, that's good. Thanks.
Todd's pro tip.
Yeah.
Wow.
Love it.
Because I'm not very good at gaming, but at least I can give you that. Anything else, Angela?
No, just playing those three right now, and here and there on the Switch, but.
Awesome. So, Mark, you've been playing with some dinosaurs?
I have, yeah. So I noticed Jurassic World Evolution on Game Pass. It was one of those games that I love Jurassic Park. I love Jurassic World. I've always loved dinosaurs, but I've never been one for like those kind of park simulator, grow and maintain a amusement park kind of game, tycoon kind of whatever. But I said, hey, it's on Game Pass, so I'm going to go mess around with some dinosaurs for a couple of minutes. And there's, it makes no difference really. I got super hooked on this game. And I don't know if it was the dinosaurs that did it for me or whatever, but I have never stuck with like a buildy park simulator kind of game ever. But this one did it for me. I've unlocked several different islands because you kind of unlock different islands around like the Jurassic World kind of things. Like you like the original island, the Jurassic Park 2 island, like all that kind of like a new kind of island. Like, so, yeah, I've unlocked a bunch of them. I've unlocked a bunch of different dinosaurs. My parks were thriving and all this. Like, it's good, man. I'm impressed. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to stick with it too much longer because, I get to that part where it's like, they start throwing really weird little things at you. Like the island I just unlocked most recently, they started me at like almost $1 million deficit. So I was just like, how am I supposed to just dig my way out of this one? Like, start me at zero.
You have a lawsuit or something,
like,
Mark?
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
somebody die and did somebody get eaten?
I guess. And that happens. Like, I did lose a ton of money when the idiots broke into a raptor cage. That was not pretty. I had to double pen my raptors. I don't know if it was a glitch or something, but like people kept getting into the raptor pen. And I was like, there was no gate now where they were. I don't know. It was so weird, but yeah, I basically ended up like double penning my raptors.
Why are people going into the
I don't know. I can't even explain how they were doing it because there was no entrance point where they were. But like it happened repeatedly before I figured out where the people were going because I kept checking up on my gate. And then there'd just be like, another person has died. Another person has died. I was like, where are these people coming from? And these idiots were going into the raptor cage. So yeah, I had to double pen that one. But that was the only real like weird glitch that I experienced with this. Anyway, it's a fun game. If you like simulators or, hey, if you're like me and you don't, but you just love dinosaurs, check it out. Once you unlock the original island, like that's just kind of free play God mode, which is cool. So yeah, play it until you do that, and then you can just have a blast. I'm gonna save the next one for a second. I did in my list. I wrote down Immortals next, but I'll save that for a second. Because yeah, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. I've been playing both. I've spent way more time on 3D World because my wife and I have been playing it together. It is a great co-op mode, and it's also probably going to be the first thing listed in our divorce papers. So a whole lot of fun until it's not. So no, it's a great game. It's just sometimes frustrating when you realize that sometimes you need to communicate more with friends or spouses. But it's just as much fun as it was on the Wii U. Yes, I double dipped for this one. Bowser's Fury is a whole lot of fun, and I'm sure Todd will have a little bit more to say about that as well, especially considering what you did and the video you sent me. I'll leave you to explain that one. But I've also been back to Immortals Phoenix Rising, which I know, Todd, you have as well. And I'll get into something that ticked me off a little bit later. This might roll into something we're going to talk about later. But yeah, I lost a couple of days worth of my save file, including the auto saves, the manual saves, no online backups because the save files were corrupted. There was nothing. I straight up lost. What was yesterday? The 21st. So I went back to the 17th. So I lost, I'm going to say, a good 3 to 5 hours of gameplay on this one. Like running around, unlocking armor sets. There was like armor sets, weapon and ability upgrades that I unlocked, a whole bunch of collectibles, like a ton, because that was what I was like mainly focusing on, like going around collecting ambrosia, collecting armor, collecting this and that. So I just lost everything. And anyway,
including your sanity.
Oh yeah. The string of curses I sent to my brother because he's been playing it too and singing its praises, and that made me excited to go back to it. So yep. That's that one. We'll Anyway, you've been playing Immortals too, Todd. So let's hear about that.
I have, and it's the first game I have beat in 2021 because it kind of bled over from 2020. Angela, it was our game of the year because we do our game of the year. Basically, we do a top 5, and essentially whatever is the highest of that's the same game is our game of the year, and this was both our game of the year. We got a code from Ubisoft Canada, and which led me to an issue because I got a review code, Mark. Apparently, it was locked and not updating at all. Like it was the test version. So I had to go in to do this on PC, and I talked to the support people. If you go into the settings, essentially you unlock a non-locked, non-editable, non-whatever version of the game, which then allowed all of the updates to finally happen in the game. I couldn't access the store. I couldn't do anything. So I'm like, finally it happened. It was great. So I'm glad it's over. The DLC's there, so I can play the DLC. But I beat the game, and I put probably about 45 hours into it. By no means did I squeeze every bit of juice out of that game. There's so much more I could do. So many more of the temples. So much more of the things I could collect. The trials. I'm dumb. And maybe you two have figured this out. I can't figure out the musical puzzles, like with the lyre. Are you just supposed to bang on them or something? I
shoot them with arrows.
Because I feel like nothing's happening. I don't know.
So you get different songs. Like there's small ones all around the island. So anytime I see one of those, I'm sorry for anyone that follows me on Xbox because I'm always clipping the video when I see one of those in the wild, so then I can go back and look at my phone and be like, okay, it's the second string, the fourth string, the first string, the third string, the second string, and I just watch that and I shoot the corresponding strings with arrows, and then something happens. So that's basically how I've been doing it. If there's an easier way, someone please tell me, because I'm probably not the smartest, but it works. I don't know.
Done more than me, Mark. Because I'm like, I hit it with my axe, and I'm like, make music. That's not how you make music.
Yeah, I would remind me never to go to a music store with you. Just like Todd, I could just see Todd going up to like the violins or something and hitting everything with an axe and be like, play music, come on. It doesn't work.
If it was a trumpet,
please, sir, you owe us $40,000 for those violins, and please never return, especially not with an axe.
So yeah, I beat the game. I think we aligned on we beat it on I beat it on easy mode. And unfortunately, it did get too easy because eventually I powered up too much. So
I switched it back to normal after I started powering up, and now I'm back to easy because I had switched it to normal during my progress. So I just like.
It's a curse. It's a curse. But that's what I wanted to be. I want to enjoy games. I don't want to be so frustrated. I can't get on there. I got to a point where I'm like, I'm just dying all the time, and I'm not a bad gamer, I don't think. But I enjoyed this game so much. The way the story wraps up, I won't spoil anything, but it was really a nice culmination of everything that was there. Lots of little things, and just the writing once again. I know some people hate the writing, but I enjoy it. It's dad jokes. It's goofy. It's Statler and Waldorf. Just having a good time.
Yeah, so, amazing.
Yeah, and I'll check out the DLC because like I got the season pass as well. So as that goes out, I'll dip back into that game because I enjoyed it so much, and I'm excited to see where they go next. I hope it did well enough that we'll get a sequel because it seems like this is a critical darling, but maybe not a commercial darling, which is a shame.
I really hope so. I really hope more people either pick it up on sale or I think it's on sale again. I think there's a flash sale, Ubisoft flash sale going on. I saw an Instagram ad popped up showing Immortals and Assassin's Creed Valhalla, so with a big flash sale. So I didn't check it out. I don't know what the prices are, and I don't even know if by the time people are listening to this, the sale will still be going on. Hopefully it is. But if you haven't checked out this game, seriously, check it out. It is. I was talking to my brother about this yesterday again because he just beat it as well, and we both said like he picked up Assassin's Creed as well when he got his PS5. We both agreed the same thing. Anytime we had a choice to play this game or Assassin's Creed, we kept going back to this game, and it really talks to how like rich, funny, colorful, bright, and just engaging the world is. It's such a great game. For a first game in the series. I hope there's more. Come on.
And actually, I recommend this to Stella. because it is an all ages game. It's an open world game, which there aren't many that are family friendly. This one, there's a couple of swears in it, but beyond that, I think it's a blast. And so, yeah. Angela, you played Immortals. Any thoughts on it?
I did. It was my personal game of the year. Also, I want to see more of this from Ubisoft. I want to see more creativity and original games. I did write the review on it. I actually gave it a 9.5 out of 10. It was excellent. It's very funny, extremely well written. I loved it.
I will say it's another one of those games where you have a horse as an option, and I never used the horse. Sorry.
Oh, really?
Never did.
That's another thing I lost. I lost my zebra.
Did you tame it?
Yeah, I did. So that's one of the lost save file thing. So I have a unicorn and a Pegasus kind of thing, which are great, and they're the horses I usually use. But I was so excited because I heard a zebra, and I was like, that sounds like a zebra, because I was kind of climbing up the thing.
Zebras sound different than horses?
Oh yeah.
I've been learned. I did not know
enough that I recognized it when I was it's way more like high pitched and it's very different. It's more clicky. Anyway, so I was climbing this hill and my wife was sitting next to me. I was like, that sounds like a zebra, and she's like, what? Why do you know what a zebra sounds like, and why would they be in this game? So I hit the top of the mountain and there's sure enough there's zebras running around. So I spent a good 5 minutes chasing those around until I caught one, and I was super happy that I caught a zebra. And it was not quite as good, like, because the horses are all tiered. So I think this was a tier 2 versus my mythical ones that are like tier 3. But I was still very happy that I caught a zebra, and now that zebra's gone, and I'm very sad.
I think that's going to be the name of the episode. It's going to be The Call of the Zebra. Because I'm just blown away. But can't wait to play more when more of the DLC's out. I will come back to the game. Bowser's Fury. I have not played any 3D World because I already beat that game, but my son wants to play. He says, Dad, when a 15-year-old kid says he wants to play with his dad, I'm like, of course. So we're going to play that game because he's really excited to play it. He played it when we had the Wii, but he wants to go back to it, and I'm excited too because that's a great opportunity. Great game. Really enjoyed it. Different type of Mario game. But Bowser's Fury, it's really different in regards to it's not a complete 3D game, but it's not a complete 2D game. It's not completely Odyssey, but it's doing some different things because there's no attack button. Mario doesn't kick things. Mario doesn't punch things in this game. You can swirl or twirl, I guess we would call it. But that's about it. And then you get a lot of different power-up suits. You do get power-up suit, obviously, that allows you to attack boomerang, cat, things like that. I'm not very far into it, but it's just a cool experience that I hope this isn't a one-off. I hope it's more of something that's coming, kind of like Captain Toad. Captain Toad was introduced in a 3D World, and then it got its own game. I'm hoping this becomes the next 3D Mario game, like an expansion, or it's 3D Odyssey with some of these elements incorporated as well. More of an open world.
You have to think the giant Bowser that's almost kind of gave off Blood Moon vibes from Breath of the Wild. You have to think they're playing around with some mechanics for the next full 3D Mario game, but I really like this. I've put probably only about 2 hours at this point, but I heard it's about a 6-hour experience, so I'm not quite halfway there. Like I said, I've been putting a ton of time in the 3D World, but it is a really neat little like mashup of Odyssey and 3D World style with like the power-ups and stuff from 3D World and the full camera range of motion. It's neat.
Yeah, I'm fully enjoying it. I can't wait to play more. I'm getting my 3D platforming hooks back into this game. It is kind of neat that you can play it co-op if you want with Bowser Jr. Is that what his name is? Koopa Jr.?
Yeah. Bowser Jr.
Yeah, and so you can play it single player, or you can do it. The second player can play this, and this would be perfect for like younger players to play as the person where they can attack, and they allow you to choose how much that this person the secondary character does for you, which is great because you can adjust that and have fun with it. But I didn't realize at first how you get the character to do things, and I'm like, oh, you hold in the bumper and you kind of have an aim feature, which is different. So
yeah, it kind of frustrated Loren actually when we were playing that. So because and maybe it's because we started with 3D World, but when she got to choose Bowser Jr. and the camera was only following me, so she kind of got lost a couple of times because she just went completely off camera, and it was kind of like, oh, I'm basically just an assist role. So I think she kind of went back to her Lego Harry Potter and let me play that one myself.
Yeah, it seems like they should have done like the Lego way they do co-op, where it kind of the screen grows, so you don't feel like you're left off. So yeah, that seems, I haven't had that experience yet because I only played it single player, but I really like it. And playing as the Mega Saiyan Mario is a lot of fun. So cool. And Bowser looks so cool as a Godzilla type character. So I really can't. I'm going to enjoy this as much as I can. I don't know if I'm going to beat 3D World. It's a rental from GameFly, but we're going to have a lot of fun with it as we play it. So yeah, it's a great. This may be my only Nintendo game I play this year, which is a precursor to what we'll talk about in the news. But there we go. Then lastly, Destiny 2. I'm getting back into Destiny 2. That's why I got a Series S, because I wanted to play Destiny 2, didn't want to pay for it, and it's not on Xbox Game Pass for PC. I don't know, is that what it's called? It's got a long name of things, and that's still been a disappointment that Xbox Game Pass for PC is still lacking. There's no EA Play yet, no Destiny 2 yet, which are the two biggest additions still lacking. So I'm playing it here, although I feel like with Destiny, it just feels like they change so much all the time. You truly don't know what the hell's going on. Like at this point, I'm like, I wanted to play the last expansion. The last expansion I played was Forsaken, so I wanted to just play these in order. Shadowkeep was the next one, and essentially you can play the missions, but they've taken things away and they've done these things. So I'm like, I kind of feel like you don't really get a great experience as a new player of all the past content, which is just a shame. And maybe it'll come back, but I kind of feel like I want to experience some of those things because I like the story in Destiny. I'm one of those rarities. I'm not a huge multiplayer. I will play. I've raided before. I've done a lot of the PvP. It's one of the few games I've done that in. But my core is the story mode and the gameplay there. So, and I do like to play with others cooperatively and have just fun with it. So I'm hoping I will get more into it. And my son's kind of my Sherpa because he is like, Dad, what happened to your character? What happened here? And I'm like, I don't know. I played the Warlock. He goes, but Dad, you've got no stuff. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't have any stuff because I played all Destiny 1 with a Warlock. And there's like no history now in my characters. It's so weird. It just, it's funny. It's the game I put the most time into on my PS4, Destiny 1. And the game is now, God, it's going on 7 years old now. So it's crazy. Yeah.
That's the reason I bought a PlayStation 4.
Yeah. So, Mark, have you been playing any more Destiny or going to get back in?
No, I really have to get back in. I do have it downloaded from Game Pass, and I made sure all the DLC bits were downloaded because I think they're separate things. But I haven't fired it up, so I'm going to have to and jump in with you guys.
Jump in with us. I'd love to play with you. That sounds sexual, but it's not. I'd love to scurry through the hills with you, my friend. Yes, and do that. So, that's what I've been playing. So, can't wait to talk more in 2 weeks. Obviously, we do this every 2 weeks, so we'll have more games to talk about in the future. So, hopefully, you guys can tell us what you're playing as well in the world of games. But now we get into the news, and we've got a bunch of little bits and pieces. And we'll actually get to the bits and pieces first, because first of all, I want to talk about a little movie called Mortal Kombat. Cue the music.
Yeah. Please insert the music there. That music gets me so pumped up every single time. Oh man. So this trailer was every single thing I wanted from a Mortal Kombat trailer since like 1995. And I love that first 1995 movie, even though it is absolutely terrible. And I just watched it maybe a month or two ago, and it still doesn't hold up, but it's still delightful and as bad as it is. And this new one, though, oh man, did they ever just come out swinging? And it looks like a perfect mix of like campy stupidity and blood and guts and violence, and they don't seem to be holding anything back. And after the trailer was released, the director was saying like they just like the fatalities were in it from the start. Like the first draft of the script, like there was fatalities, they were killing people off. They're just like no holds barred, just go for it, do whatever you want. I am so excited for this, and it comes out soon, so I'm buzzing.
Yeah, it's going to be on HBO Max for free and in theaters. So perfect for anybody who just wants to jump in. I did see the original Mortal Kombat in college, Mark. I'm old, and I blew my mind away. I remember when Mortal Monday came out when I was in college, and people in the quad screaming Mortal Kombat. I mean, the game was a phenomenon. I think people forget that. And once again, this is a series that's been around for since 1991, I believe. So this series has longevity. There wasn't even a Saturday morning cartoon of Mortal Kombat, so I don't even understand.
I can't believe I played. Like, I was 10 when this movie came out, so that means I was playing the game and watching the movie. Because I don't know if I saw this in theaters. I don't think I was allowed to, but I definitely saw it like soon after it came out on VHS, like 100%. And yeah, it's funny when you said you saw that movie in college, and we were talking about this earlier this week, and like, it's not that big of an age gap. When I say I was 10 and you were in college, it sounds way bigger than it is. But now, like, just whatever. It's so funny. But like, even that, like an 8 or 10 year age gap, it's like when you put it.
Mark, I could have been your babysitter, and that's just weird.
I know. Yeah, it's totally. It's a weird thing. Like, for sure. Yeah.
So, Angela, Mortal Kombat history with the series.
I played it a little bit growing up, but I never really got super into it, and I haven't played anything recently of it. Sorry.
What
were your first thoughts seeing the trailer?
It looks interesting. I don't necessarily. I'm not so much of a movie person, but I don't necessarily mind video game movies. So, yeah.
Think you're going to see this one, or just kind of hold off?
I'll hold off on it for a little while. It's not going to be a day one movie for me.
Well, there are a lot of strong female characters in this movie, literally.
Absolutely,
They will kill you and eat your face, and do lots of bad things to you.
One strong female character that sadly will not be in this movie is Chun-Li. Did you guys see any of that shit?
Yes.
Sorry for my language, but like, oh my goodness. This, like, if anyone's listening and doesn't know what I'm talking about, this feminist, I guess like feminist website or something like that. I'm not even familiar with the publication. I just like saw things going on Twitter, and I guess they wrote this whole article and got all up in arms that they had taken Chun-Li out of the Mortal Kombat movie. And for anyone that's just listening and being like, why is that a thing? Yeah, Chun-Li's from Street Fighter, a completely different franchise. Also, she's in Fortnite right now, her and Ryu, and they're awesome. And but anyway, so she's in Fortnite, but not sadly in the Mortal Kombat movie. Although I would take a Mortal Kombat Street Fighter crossover movie any single day of the week. Let's make that shared universe. Someone get on it. Anyway, so there we go.
Did they not have a crossover at any time? Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat? Seems like every fighting game did.
I don't know. It's a good question.
I'm just looking it up really quick because because we had Capcom versus SNK. We had
Capcom versus Marvel. We've had Injustice, which was kind of Mortal Kombat versus DC.
Oh, they used to have Mortal Kombat versus DC. Remember that game?
Mm-hmm.
God, so maybe they didn't. I don't know, but everybody seems like they've crossed over at one point. But that was just so funny. But to your point, Mike, some people want to get outraged. But the weird part about this director has directed two things. First thing was Nighttime Economy in 2014, a video short. This is his first movie ever.
I love it.
Why do you trust a person with no directing credits at all, TV or anything, to direct your multi-million-dollar movie? It's just so weird.
That's super strange.
Yeah. I'm excited. I think this looks good. And it's funny that we're finally getting a movie or a media of the game that actually matches the brutality as the game does. Because in the past, they were like PG-13, didn't really show gore and things like that. But this one they are. So kids,
when Sub-Zero cuts that guy and then uses his own blood to turn
Oh,
freeze
that
and
was
turn into a knife. I was like, what is actually happening, and why am I so excited? I've seriously watched this trailer like 18 times. It is, oh man, I can't wait.
I just hope we get babalities and friendships too.
100%. I'm kind of sad that there's no in the trailer at least, and I don't know. I haven't looked up the cast list or literally anything other than the trailer because I just want to go in somewhat blind. But I needed to watch the trailer just to set my expectations because it could have been terrible. But no Johnny Cage. I was really kind of waiting to see some mustache or sunglass wearing like kind of knob walking around in this trailer, but no such luck.
Oh, there's going to be so many little cameos and things, Mark.
I think so.
Just you wait.
We'll see a poster or something, and he'll be in the sequel.
Exactly. Johnny Cage in Mortal Kombat or something like this. Some throwaway. Yeah, definitely. So hopefully everybody's excited about that. That's coming very soon. Once again, it's on HBO Max, so be excited for that. Man, oh man. Microsoft out of the blue, and it was funny because I've always said, is Microsoft going to finally get into the headset game or high-end headset games? Because we've had the Elite, I think I might even talk about here, but their headset they've had is pretty low rent. It's like $60, wired, doesn't do much. Sony's been doing different versions of their headset. They have a lot of high-end headsets, not that are PlayStation rented either. And all of a sudden, they dropped this headset that's coming out for Xbox. It is Bluetooth and using the Xbox proprietary wireless standard as well. So the cool thing about this is you can connect it to Bluetooth and the Xbox at the same time. So you can go Discord, you can listen to music or whatever on your phone, you can take calls on your phone and not have to worry about that. So that's very cool. It's also got a boom mic. It's got, I believe the controls are actually just big old dials on the ear cups itself. It's understated.
And they're separate as well. One's volume, the other one's chat volume.
Which is perfect.
So you can kind of mix very quickly without going into any menus, which is an awesome and under talked about feature.
Absolutely, because in the past the only way you could get like volume controls with games is they used to have the Xbox headset adapter that plugged into the bottom of the controller and had little volume buttons. I mean, come on.
I still use that.
Well, doesn't it feel like we're in the dark age of controllers at this point? Unless you want to spend like $150, $200, $250, it seems like a lot of these features that you would hope would just be there are just have been neglected. So I'm excited about this because once again, it's dongle-less, which that's such a weird term. But yeah, there's no dongles. It's just connecting that way to all your devices, which means still though that the Switch it won't work for the Switch because the Switch doesn't have Bluetooth baked in. But does this have a wired option?
I don't know. That's one thing I haven't been able to confirm because I have been wondering about that, and I've gone through my headphone disasters and ups and downs on this podcast. But maybe let's get to Sean's question, I think, maybe first, and that'll tie into the rest of the conversation here. Yeah,
so Sean Nias asked the question about what we think about this headset and kind of what's the state of gaming headsets as it is. And so at this point, we've got Xbox now finally announcing this headset, which seems like it's pretty good for $100. 15 hours, does all these different features, and connects to PC via Bluetooth, Xbox, and also Bluetooth devices as well. We've got the PlayStation PS 3D Pulse headset, which I own, which uses a dongle. So it's not dongle-less, but it is wired if you want to hook up to any type of 3.5 millimeter thing. But the dongle can go into the Switch, PC, or PlayStation. And then Nintendo has nothing except a squid dongle, I think, is what they've got essentially. So it's very weird. But beyond that, then you've got Astro, the Astro series, which is high-end, the Steel series Arctis, Razer, Astro. Am I missing anything else, everyone?
Yeah, I mean, there's a million headphone companies and and just little things you can find on Amazon. But I guess those would be the big ones. When I saw this, I said, of course they're going to release their own headset just a couple of weeks after I bought another new one for myself. But the things that we were talking about, not being able to use this on Switch, unknown about the 35 millimeter, just being able to plug it into something. Even if the battery runs out, still using it on your Xbox, being able to plug it directly in the controller. I assume that that's a feature on this thing, but I'm not 100% sure right now. For my money, the head, and this might be just justifying my purchase, but for about the same price, you can get an Arctis SteelSeries 1, or like the one I got, the 1X, which is a slight variation on the Arctis, the SteelSeries Arctis 1. The difference with this one, it is a dongle, but the dongle only switches between Xbox and Bluetooth. That means I can plug this little USB-C dongle into my Switch when it's in handheld mode. There's also a USB adapter, kind of a cable, so USB-C on one end, USB-A on the other. That's what plugs into the Xbox, the PlayStation, or the Switch when it's in docked mode. It also works with USB-C on my iPad, so I can basically use this headset for every single thing that I do. It's got great battery life, great microphone, great sound quality. Not too many like bells and whistles, but like for the same kind of price, I think this was, I don't know, 120, 130 Canadian. So probably about $100 for you guys, I think, right around there. The SteelSeries Arctis 1X are, for me, for a cross-platform gamer, that's still my favorite. And it doesn't have like the Bluetooth being able to hook it up to your phone and the Xbox and that kind of stuff. But if you're looking for something to play on Switch, Xbox, PlayStation, across whatever, I'm super impressed with this one. And it's very, very easy to switch over because I was playing on my Switch, literally took the dongle off, flipped to the Xbox, plugged it in, and I was good to go. So it's I don't know. I'm not quite as shaken up about this Xbox specific one, just because, like you said, there's no easy way to change between like Xbox, Switch, PlayStation. Like nobody gets along in the headset space. It drives me crazy.
No, Angela, what do you use for headsets?
I have 7 headsets.
Holy! I thought that was bad.
One for every day of the week. That's really what it is. A different color, match it with your outfits. Yep.
I prefer wireless, but with the Series X, there's this is actually one of my pet peeves, is that fake interference. Maybe I'm sitting too far away from it, even though I'm not. So I went back to wired. So I have this Turtle Beach wired. I actually just got it, and I love it. It's great. It does what I need it to do. But again, I have to plug in that little adapter in the bottom of the controller with the volume button on the adapter.
That adapter's not cheap either. I mean, I think my friend found it for $40. Xsean had to spend $40, and I'm like, that's ridiculous. Yeah. But yeah, I thought Bluetooth, when they added Bluetooth to the Xbox, I thought that would solve it. I thought PlayStation would solve it. Mm-hmm. But nobody solved it, to your point. And I've got right now in my head PlayStation Golds that I'm just hooking up wired now, that I don't use anymore because my cats have been chewing it. My son is the worst thing in the world when it comes to headsets because he keeps on stealing them. My Pulse, he's got that constantly with him plugged into his phone. I'm like, what are you doing? It's so nice. I'm like, oh, you're killing me, Joe. Never plugged it in, so it's never charged. So so I did order the Xbox headset because I'm like, regardless, and I hope it is wired too, because then I can use it wherever I want to go. And it's one way or the other. And I like the fact that it supports apps and things like that. The one version, Mark, of the Arctis is the 7X.
Yeah.
Is the other one I'm interested in too. That's $150. Very similar, has a USB-C dongle, and it's like, I think we said, it says an Xbox switch or USB, and it's like whatever you hook into.
Does that have the switch too? I would have jumped up. I didn't think that switched back and forth. Damn it.
It does. It has Xbox and USB, so it'll work on much everything under the sun as well. So I don't know beyond the difference, but that's the problem. There's like, oh, you got the wrong one. And you feel like you're beating yourself up. And I mean, it's
that's why I went with the 1X. I would have jumped up in quality. I was ready to spend whatever I needed to get something that went across multiple platforms. And they don't sell that as much as a feature for that headset.
Oh, and I had to get recommendations. I'm like, why does this one matter? And how do they do it? And I'm like, and I look at this little dongle, and I'm like, it's a cute little dongle, but it's like, it's USB-C versus A or whatever. But I mean, yeah. So there you go, guys. I don't know if there's, like I said, if the Xbox does support a wired, that will cover X amount of your options.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with the Pulse 3Ds. That'll cover most of your options as well. And the headset Mark recommended covers most of your options. So there's a lot of options out there. And it's funny, the people that bought the high end, like the Astro 250s or whatever, they have like a breakout box and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of those people are mad because almost all the systems removed optical, which is what they use to get the audio. They ended up having an adapter. So I think they still support that for some headsets, not all. So I think
the PlayStation Golds work with my Switch too.
Yeah.
When my Golds were actually functional, they're not now, but that dongle worked. It just plugged into USB-A and worked docked. Of course, it doesn't work handheld, but handheld you have the option for the wire. So they are pretty versatile.
Yeah, so hopefully somebody will eventually solve this problem, but until then, they just want you to spend more money. So save your money, folks. I'm telling my son that. Save your money, because he will get his own eventually, hopefully. Then we get into the specific stories we wanted to talk about. So, Mark, Nintendo had their Direct. Mm-hmm. My goodness. So, Angela, did you watch the Direct?
No, but I did go back later and read about what was shown.
Okay, so Mark is going to walk us through the Direct. Yeah, Mark is going to walk us through the Direct.
Yeah, I'm not going to go through everything because it was a big Direct. It was 50 minutes long. So if you want to go back and watch the whole thing, I'm going to recommend doing that. I thought overall it was a pretty good Direct. There was something for everyone. My wife and I both watched it. I was excited about some things. She was excited about others. My brother and I were texting, and he was excited about some things that I wasn't. So it was there was something there for everyone. But as far as like big boom kind of announcements, I didn't feel like they really kept it. So it was good, not great. For the first Direct in over 500 days or something crazy like that. A lot of people were expecting this to just hit home run after home run after home run. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that's setting your expectations too high or what, because it's COVID. I think things are different. Things you can't always have these home runs. So I think this is just kind of what we got. And I said, like, it's pleasing to the masses. So a couple of things that stood out for me: Splatoon 3. I mean, I had a Splatoon podcast with Bobby, who apparently is doing pretty good. Not pretty good, but off ventilator.
He's making progress, right? 120
he's making
days
progress.
in the hospital,
and
hopefully he'll be out or at least be recovered soon.
Yeah, heading to rehab, I think, soon. So our thoughts and prayers are still with Mr. Nintendo Guru. So can't wait to hear his thoughts on Splatoon 3, hopefully pretty soon. The big controversial one, Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD, the Wii game that was, for the most part, pretty good. Like the original Zelda story tells where the Master Sword came from, but had a lot of like filler quests. The controls kind of got tiring after a while, the motion controls. So I'm glad they've added the option in this to use the control sticks, but I'm not sure how that's going to actually feel or translate to real gameplay. So I'm curious how this one's going to be. I never finished that game. My Wii broke before I got to finish it, and I just never went back when I got the Wii U. I wanted to play new and shiny things.
They used to be a joke.
I broke my Wii.
My Wii.
Yeah. My Wii doesn't work. Anyway, so let's move on.
We're disgusting.
You guys are chuckling. I'm just telling you, my Nintendo doesn't work anymore. Apex Legends, Fall Guys. I'm very excited for Fall Guys going multi-platform. The day after this Direct, they also announced it was going on Xbox. Very exciting stuff, but I'm wondering if the Fall Guys hype is over or if it going to a couple of new platforms might reinvigorate things, because that was a really fun game for like a week on PlayStation, but it's not PlayStation's just not my home. It's not my place to play, so I never stuck with it. I didn't have enough friends on PlayStation to justify. Now that it's everywhere, like my wife played it a little bit on PlayStation. She was like, I will pick that up on Switch. My nephew will pick it up on Switch. I'll be on my Xbox, and we'll all just like have a fun time just playing Wipeout with little hot dog men or whatever the hell that is.
Switch is probably the only place you'll probably pay full price for, unfortunately.
Yeah, probably. I was super excited about Star Wars Hunters until I found out it was a Zynga or whatever that company's name. Like
Zynga, that's a joke.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think the biggest one, the big one, even more so than Splatoon 3, because we don't have a release date for that, Mario Golf Super Rush. I freaking love the Mario Golf games. How do you guys feel about any of these, or did anything else stick out to you guys from this, or how'd you feel?
Go ahead, Todd.
Well, I will tell you what made my son the most excited, which is just the most lame thing in the world, but he's my son. I love him anyways. Miitopia. He loved the game on 3DS. And it's the fact that this game is coming out now, and it's got like a great looking horse. That's the only thing people are commenting on. And they made a horse joke in the direct. So you know what? But it's $50.
Mm-hmm.
This is my problem with Nintendo as a whole. Nintendo is the worst value equation of any platform. They charge way too much. They don't discount their games. And to me, that's frustrating. I've already talked about how Animal Crossing, for me to actually get on that game to have my own copy, it would cost me at least $260 to $360. They are not consumer friendly at all. They're like getting
Super Mario items.
Exactly.
I can't wait.
So you have to go out and spend $300, Todd.
It's funny. If you've ever watched Futurama, there's a corporation called Mom, who's basically this elderly, kindly grandma, and that's her image to the public. But when she turns off the camera, she takes off her elderly woman dress and basically is the meanest woman in the world. And she's all about profit. I feel like Nintendo is like that, and they get away with it. And I appreciate that. Hey, their business team. But once again, it just frustrates me. Where is their classics line? Where is their player's choice line, Mark? It's been that long. They always do it. It's $20 games. So yeah. Rant over. But other than that, I had a problem with Skyward Sword HD. We just got 3 HD ports of Mario games for $20 a piece, if you round up to 60, that had changes so you could play on the Switch. This is essentially the same thing they're doing with Skyward Sword with no added content, like 3D World, for $60.
Or even like Wind Waker with this, like the Swift sale and like improvements and stuff. We haven't heard anything about that, and maybe there are.
Maybe there will be.
Left it out. But I see where you're coming from.
Give us Link's crossbow training included.
That's exactly what we need to come back.
Absolutely. So yeah, it's just, once again, it's a Zelda game that I stopped really early on the game because the pacing was horrible. It felt like my first Zelda, where they just handheld you and told you, "Hey, a rupee. You don't need to tell me." So I'm hoping they fix the pacing, because maybe I'll go back into it. It's a rental for me. The game that kind of stood out to me is and this felt like a very JRPG type of Nintendo Direct, because we had Project Triangle, which is very JRPG. A lot of these franchises felt that way, and that's just not my personality, what I'm into. There were some prizes, like the Neon White, when they showed that game. That was by the team that made Danganronpa, I guess. And it was just a weird, like, card-based first-person action game, it made me anxious, I guess, when I watched it. I'm like, I can't control that. But beyond that, me and Nintendo are on a break.
I couldn't pick that up from this conversation at all. You've shocked me, Todd.
Surprise, surprise. Yeah, I'm the grumpy guy. I am happy, though, Plants vs. Zombies is finally coming to the Switch, because I think that's a perfect companion piece. I am a little disappointed we missed out on these classics in the Japan Direct. The Caligula Effect 2. That sounds very kid-friendly. Caligula? Kids love Caligula.
Exactly.
What is that?
We were talking about girls in games earlier. DC Superhero Girls Teen Power. My wife was so excited. She was like, "I want to play this."
That looks awesome.
She usually plays like a couple of games. Usually it's like whatever multiplayer game we're playing together, or Lego Harry Potter. So this game caught her and got her excited. So I'm super excited for that. Angela, what got you excited in this, if anything?
I think Fall Guys. I actually wrote that down. Fall Guys, I think was huge. And then, of course, as silly as it is, the Animal Crossing Mario DLC.
Oh yeah.
I still play Animal Crossing almost every day. So.
Awesome.
I will take one thing back. Knockout City surprised me. I don't think that game's going to do very well, but I thought it was just funny. It's a dodgeball game.
Yep.
And it's just $20. You get everything. There's no DLC or anything like that. Apparently, it's just play. And the fact is, you can ball up your friend and throw him. So why not? I like that mechanic.
I think that game looked surprising, and I think it's going to be fun. I'm wondering if the $20 price tag is a smart decision or a bad decision. I'm wondering if they actually did go like the Fortnite route, where this game is free and then you could, pay for DLC cosmetics or whatever. I'm wondering, I just don't know if that's a good choice or a bad choice. I guess we'll see fairly soon, but my thought when I saw this was like, oh, sweet, yeah, I will jump in and play a few rounds and see if I want to spend money on this. And then it was like, no, you got to pay up front. I was like, okay.
It's hard to break through on that.
It's tough.
Yeah. Yeah, Ninjala was the one game that people thought was going to be like the Splatoon successor, and eventually just kind of died on the vine. But it is interesting that Nintendo kind of did the bait and switch when they said, oh, we'll only be talking about the first half of 2021, and then they drop all these games in 2022, like Splatoon 3. So there you go. But yeah, I think Mario Kart shows a lot of promise in regards to what it could do versus the tennis game, with having that rush mode and RPG mode. So it could be a lot of fun.
Mario Golf, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, what did I say?
Kart.
Okay, yes. Yeah. Still 3 years. 3 Splatoons will be out in the time that one Mario Kart's been out.
Yeah. Oh man, don't even get me started on that shenanigans. I tweeted out. I did the math. How many days it has been since we got a new Wave Race game? Let's see if I can find the tweet here.
Did you create an app for that, Mark?
No, I counted days on a calendar. No, I'm just joking. I said how many days since Blue Storm. So at the time, so this was 4 days ago. So I had 4 days to this at time of recording or whatever. Anyway, at the time it was 7,032 days since we got Wave Race Blue Storm, and it's been 2,093 days since Splatoon 1 was released. So in those 2,093 days, we've got Splatoon 1 and 2 and a third one announced on the way, and 7,000 days since we've heard anything about Wave Race. And that is a darn travesty. Time for some Wave Race love.
I think that could be added to our pet peeve of, Nintendo.
That's my only pet peeve. Yeah. Okay. No Wave Race. That's it. Show over.
And I want to say happy 35th anniversary to The Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
In Japan, not the U.S. Apparently, it was 18 months later in North America, which is kind of crazy. And Nintendo just said, here's a $60 HD port. And some Joy-Cons.
Enjoy.
Yeah.
Joy-Con. There you go.
Oh, mercy.
Zing. Oh, well. Happy Nintendo for all. And then I just wanted to give a little story that is interesting because Xbox has been fairly quiet, obviously, since they launched the Xbox Series consoles. They talked about that they would have ongoing announcements, and so now we're hearing there potentially is a rumor where they will finally announce that they have officially completed the deal to buy Bethesda. Was it ZeniMax? What is the
ZeniMax Studios? I think.
Publisher. That they have officially bought it, and they're going to go into detail, potentially in March, an event that Jeff Grubb has talked about, that they will be talking about what that deal means, exclusivity, and kind of announcements that we should look forward to. So I think this is important because at this point, Bethesda, the only games we know that are coming out that are new are all going to PlayStation. That was Ghostwire Tokyo, and we also have Deathloop, are Bethesda Studios games, or ZeniMax Studio games, but they're both going to PlayStation as timed exclusives. So, and as exciting as it would to get the old Bethesda back catalog, those are still old games. So is it time now for Bethesda finally to come out and say, you know what, here's something new, and it's only going to be on Xbox. And this is where you're only going to be able to play Xbox or Bethesda games in the future. So, Angela, what do you think? I mean, are you a Bethesda fan?
Yes, big time. I'm really looking forward to this event if it's real. It'll be interesting to see what they do and say, and maybe we can squash some of those rumors about exclusives.
Mm-hmm. I really wonder if in the background there's some. You have to think there's some talks going on between Microsoft, ZeniMax, Bethesda, and PlayStation talking about these exclusives and saying like, you know what, maybe let's ease up on a couple of these. Either take out some of the exclusivity window. Maybe it's not a year. Maybe it's moved to 3 months or 6 months or something like that, or not exclusive at all. And you have to think right now, Microsoft has a couple of really big cards. The first one that comes to my mind is Indiana Jones. And Microsoft could be holding that, or, any single one of these franchises. They could be saying, okay, well, you want the next Elder Scrolls game, you want Indiana Jones on PlayStation, play nice with the, exclusives that you have right now, or, maybe we won't play nice in the future. And Microsoft's been really gamer friendly and playing nice. They've been the good guy for a little while. But you have to wonder with this really, really big acquisition, they can kind of come in swinging now, and they have a decent amount of power to say, look, we're going to have these on Game Pass, and they could be exclusive to Game Pass. So play nice, or the next couple of years are going to suck for you guys if you want these kind of games.
Yeah, there was a rumor that apparently the deal that Xbox struck with ZeniMax doomed Stadia, because they essentially said that would cut off a large library of games in the future to their platform. So as much as we said this is good for gamers, cutting off platforms is not always the best thing, because maybe you don't like this, but that's perfectly fine. I do find it interesting that the Indiana Jones is an interesting one, because that's not a owned IP by Xbox. So that one's going to be a conundrum, because we've got Sony with Spider-Man with a deal. We've got the Marvel Ultimate Avengers or Ultimate Alliance 3 on Switch. Mm-hmm. So Disney's not exactly consistent with their properties and how they would play. And Disney may say, we don't, and I would say it could be exclusive. I don't know if Game Pass is a day one exception, because that means Disney may want more from them if it goes to Game Pass, right? Because that becomes you're limiting that audience on who can get the game versus if it goes to Game Pass or whatever. So I don't know.
Yeah. And that does suck. Question. I mean, Microsoft does not have the money to spend to compensate.
Is that where
LOL? They're like a $1 trillion company. They have the money to swing around. They can do that if they want to. And I don't know if they're petty enough to. That's the thing. That's what I'm wondering is going on in the background right now. Like, are they petty enough or I don't know, savvy enough, however you want to look at it, to say, yeah, you know what, we're going to spend $1 billion just to keep this away from your hands if you don't play our game. And Microsoft is one of the very few companies in the world that can do that if they want to.
They're bigger than Disney. They're bigger than Sony. They're bigger than everybody combined, except for maybe Amazon and Google at this point. So, yeah, they can do it. Yeah, and it's funny that people are like, oh, little Microsoft Xbox, they're the little underdog. I'm like, no, they could buy everybody if they wanted to. the fact that Xbox is not the biggest name in gaming is the fact is it just shows a lot of incompetence in the past, and they haven't played their game. Now, if they're truly honest, they'll say, yeah, we're doing this because we want people to buy Game Pass. But they've been doing this. We want people to feel they can play their games anywhere. No, you're saying you don't want people to play games on PlayStation, Nintendo, except for maybe what we say. So let's just put it this way. Let's be honest, and let's not put this kumbaya attitude, because it's not true. They want your money, guys, just like Nintendo wants your money. But anyways, yeah, I think it's really important. And you know what? Ultimately, Game Pass is a great leverage. And if they said, guess what, for the first year, it's exclusive to Xbox and Game Pass. And if you want a raggedy old game when it's a year old and nobody cares about it anymore, you can buy it for $60 on PlayStation, Nintendo. Guess what? That would be perfectly fine as a secondary revenue source. There's nothing because you know what? A year later, people are focusing on different games. So I think people have to get a mindset of like, it just has to be here. It can be other places eventually, just like Xbox brought State of Decay or a lot of Nintendo or Xbox platforms to Steam down the road. They weren't there at launch eventually. So I'm interested. So I've talked a lot, but Angela, so we give you time to ruminate. So what is your wishes if they were to announce something in March?
The only thing that I really want is Elder Scrolls 6, and I know that's years off, so that's my most anticipated game from them.
People need to stop buying Skyrim. if they stop buying Skyrim, they'll eventually make Elder Scrolls 6. It's so scary, just crazy. Yeah.
Who doesn't have multiple copies?
Oh, I know, and it's so funny because it's like, how many Fallouts have we gotten since we got Skyrim? Which is just funny that's what they focused on. So we shall see. So Mark, do you have one like excitement about Bethesda you want to hear?
Aside from those exclusives, not really. I would say the same thing. Elder Scrolls. That was kind of going to be my answer. So thanks for taking 10 minutes to steal that one from me, Angela. Just joking. No, no. I mean, I'd be happy hearing anything really with the future of Wolfenstein, Elder Scrolls. Whatever it is, Doom with a female Doomslayer. I don't care. Just give me some good stuff. But I'm way more interested in the back end deal part of this than I am in any single game they could possibly announce.
Yeah, it'll be exciting. And you know what? Maybe we'll get some new IPs because I mean, Doom, all these franchises, they're so old. What's new from stuff that'll get us excited? Except for Starfield. That's probably the next one that's going to come out. And God, I hope it's soon because that'll be awesome. Oh well. Yep. That is it for the news, folks. It is time now to talk about the bonus round. This week's topic is gaming pet peeves. Wow, we haven't talked about any pet peeves so far, have we?
No, we've definitely not been leading up to this.
So, Angela, pet peeves. This could be, hardware, gameplay, any of those things. So, what grinds your gears, as we'd say, from Peter Griffin?
So I have a few. My first one is when a game doesn't auto save. That drives me absolutely crazy. People who talk through cutscenes the first time you're playing through when you're in a party chat and they're talking through the story. I feel like my entire Destiny 2 story was like that. My wireless headset's fake interference. I don't like that. And lastly, this is specifically to Destiny. All the complaining about the game. Find a new game and then come back to it.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I have 1,000 hours in Destiny too, so I get it. It's an amazing game, but there's a lot of complaining about it online. Maybe just take a break and circle back to it later. Yeah, those are mine.
Wow. I expected the fury to come forth. Well, of course, you talked about games that crash and headset issues. So you kind of we've kind of covered a lot actually here. So I'm sure Mark has nothing to talk about.
No, not at all. I did want to get to a couple that I saw coming in through Twitter and Todd. I don't know if you saw some coming in other places. Barry Dunn said the Animal Crossing villagers watching every step, watching your every step. I don't know if he's just creeped out. I kind of like my villagers. I think he needs to get new villagers. The only one I didn't like was the clown sheep thing that I kicked off my island really quickly because no one likes clowns following them. That's the one. Yeah, he left. Good riddance. My darling wife, like I said, loves Harry Potter, Lego Harry Potter, and she replied to Todd's tweet with the dreaded words no one ever wants to see. Unexpected error has occurred. She's hit that a couple of times in Harry Potter and either wiped a save or she couldn't load up. She had the game at one point. She's beaten it several times over, but she had it at one point of 99.8% complete and couldn't go any further. She had to restart the save file because there was something every time she hit a certain part to collect a certain thing, unexpected error has occurred and her Switch would crash. So that has just become like this dreaded thing. So when she was sitting next to me when the first thing I'm going to talk about is losing my freaking save file. Very similar kind of thing. Unexpected error, corrupt file. Those things just suck. It's with any technology. It doesn't matter if it's a game or we've all had that, going through school and you're writing a paper and you're on a really good streak writing the paper and then something happens and you lose all the progress and you're up till 5 a.m. and you're just hating life. Doesn't matter what it is. Lost save files, corrupt files, whatever it is. It sucks. It sucks.
Wow.
Yep.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
Yeah, that's a technology thing, but for gaming specifically, save files or just weird corruption things, not being able to finish a game like Call of Duty, another great example, and those things just don't go away because the more complex games get, the more chance there is for some weird little bug to make its way through QA and go there. On a lighter note, I'm going to get to just a couple of quick things. For me, card mechanics. I see card mechanics in a game. It's like an automatic couple of point reduction or just completely lose interest. If the Steam World games couldn't get me into card mechanics, I don't think a game is going to. I don't know. If I want to play cards, I'm going to pick up a deck. If I want to play a video game, just leave the cards somewhere else. I don't know. That's just me. Broken but forced stealth. When a mission in a game is like, you have to stealth your way through this one and not get spotted, but like the AI is just so stupid that like you can't throw anything or distract them anyway, and they just keep walking into a wall right next to you, and like it's just broken. That drives me crazy and will literally cause me to never play a game again. Crappy online, like especially with Nintendo games, but I mean any game. We've all had those games, whether it's a Call of Duty crashing or high ping or whatever it is. Just no, fix online everywhere. But Nintendo's a pretty bad example of that. They've never gotten anything right ever. We talked about this before. I'll quickly touch on again. Non-wireless headsets. Mm-hmm. I like my wirelessness. Yep.
Yes.
Words and things. Hey, I'm an English major too. Yeah.
Mark is so smart. SMRT.
Me is smart. Yes. Games that don't have crossplay and or cross save in this day and age, everything should. And that's when they said Apex Legends not going to have cross save, it was like, seriously? Like, I know they're giving Switch players a level boost, but it's like, at this point, like, why?
Why would you go to platform? Yeah. Why would you go to the platform?
Right. Like, I mean, unless Switch is your only platform, but like, that just seems so dumb. So this one's very specific to over the weekend playing with my nephew and a couple of his friends. And I mean, I'm going to preface this by saying I was a pretty shitty 9-year-old kid, I'm sure. And I wouldn't have wanted to play with myself. No, that sounded bad. I wouldn't have wanted to game with.
Is this explicit? I don't know.
No, I'm just going to leave.
Solo.
I wouldn't have wanted to talk to me either. But anyway, so like playing with people that basically stick that age
played solo, Mark.
Right.
Sorry.
Yep. All right. So anyway, people that put their mics basically inside their mouth and they like yell or make repeatedly annoying sounds or like eat into a microphone, and it's like, just no. It's like,
no one wants to hear this.
Oh, you podcasted with Charlie?
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Like, man. Anyway, take your mic out of your mouth and stop eating Doritos while you're playing a game, or just mute yourself. Yeah. Todd, you definitely opened a can of worms with this one. I'm not going to lie. Like, I was struggling when you said gaming pet peeves. I was like, I think that could be fun, but like, I was kind of struggling for a day or so to think of some. And then I like actually sat down to think about it, and it just like, the hate kept flowing. I was kind of scared I was going a little bit Anakin Skywalker dark side there.
I'm your Palpatine.
You're just like, you're encouraging, letting the hate flow. It's kind of scary. So now that you've encouraged me to let my hate out, what about you?
Oh boy. So I've been gaming a long time, so we have come a long way, but we still have so far to go. Bad checkpoints that make you repeat huge sections of a game before the boss fight and make you watch a cutscene.
Oh.
It was good the first time, not the 85th time.
That's a good one.
Here's another one. When you're having a boss fight and you die, you only have like 5 health potions or something like that. You come back. The boss is at full health, but all of your health potions are gone. Why?
Yep.
Why? How did he did he just take your health potions from you?
That's what happened.
Oh, Grand Theft
He
Auto.
saw your unconscious corpse lying there, and he was like,
I'm
this
gonna eat
sucker's
your
be
body.
back. I'm gonna get them health potions. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I get it. You do that, but then the boss needs to keep his level of health you took down. Because, if I couldn't beat him with all those health potions, how am I going to beat him with no health potions?
Yeah.
I'm not that good. Yeah. Get good? No, I can't. Unskippable cutscenes, or cutscenes that you won't let you pause them, or cutscenes you can't rewatch because you accidentally skipped them, or people were talking over them, Angela.
Yes. Agree with all of that.
Why
100%.
Isn't a cutscene just something you see in the media gallery, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So there you go.
How many times do you have you're growing up, your mom finished making the meatloaf and she's yelling at you to come upstairs and have the meatloaf, and you're like, I can't hear the cutscene, I can't pause a cutscene. You're trying to watch it, and the meatloaf's getting cold, and I hear you.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, inconvenient. Oh well. My son would say, "I'm playing an online game," and mom and dad call me. That's their favorite. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Oh well. Let's see. Save anywhere. Where's save anywhere? This day and age, we have unlimited hard drives. Why is it bad checkpointing? Let us save anywhere, like in most RPGs. Skyrim, I think I saved 85,000 times. Because I don't know what's going to happen when that cursed chest I open might be a good thing or a bad thing. So let every other game do that, please. No button remapping? Really? Come on. It's not brain surgery. It's just A can do what B does. That's all it is.
I'm going to throw one in for Sean Capri on this one. Even though it doesn't really bother me, I know this bothers a lot of people. Invert sticks.
Absolutely. Whatever makes it more accessible to gamers. And I would say that in Destiny 2, and maybe somebody knows how to do this and I'm just dumb, where are my closed captions? I can't figure it out. I want to see what they're saying because typically people are talking and I can't hear what they're saying, so I want to see what is happening in the cutscene. I can't find it anywhere in my son said, yeah, it used to be here, and I'm like, I can't find it anywhere. So come on, guys. Closed captioning, that's an accessibility people that might have issues with hearing and they just want to play the game, so please make that happen.
I wonder if it's system level. Is there a system, like a thing you can turn on system level maybe? Yeah.
Series S? I don't know. I'd have to look, maybe. But it's weird. It's not in the gameplay settings because it typically is. My son had the same problem. He was playing Persona 5 Strikers, and he didn't have a way to balance the volume of the audio and the chat, or not chat, but basically the dialogue with the music and all the sound effects. It was really loud in one way. I'm like, that's just dumb. You should be able to rebalance the audio so it sounds good. Oh, well. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see. Inability to pick up as much as ammo as you want or items as you want. Like, I can carry 85 guns, but I can only hold 16 pieces of ammo, which is just weird. I think that's a problem in Destiny, Call of Duty, things like that. It's like, yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. Oh, well. And then to Mark's point, lack of cross save. So I think we've covered everything, but you know what? I know we haven't. So everybody has pet peeves, and it could be as simple as, why should I have to pay $260 to have my own island in Animal Crossing? There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I said, you kind of open up the floodgates on this one, and I did stop before I think I went too far down. But yeah, there are so many things. I think we could probably have a segment of the week or pet peeve of the week or something like that. So I want to hear what other people. I thought this was such a fun topic, so I want to hear what other people hate about games, as bad as that sounds. But I think this is so much fun that I hope when people hear this, they hit us back on Twitter or wherever and say like, oh man, I hate when we see this, or I'd love. I didn't even get started on like mobile games, so that was just something I didn't want to go into. But I'm sure I could again write a full list on like crappy little microtransactions and stuff like that. So yeah,
it's just amazing that as much as the pet peeves we have, we still love this hobby and we come back to it regardless of those things. So just be better gaming, and if you're a publisher or developer or thing and you have the ability to change this in your games, please do, and spread the gospel. Oh well, Angela, it has been a pleasure. You've been a phenomenal guest. Tell people how they can reach out and find you on the interwebs.
On Twitter, I am at AKA Phasma, and also you can read my work on seasongaming.com. Thank you for having me, by the way. It's been really fun.
This is really fun.
Thank you. Yeah, we've loved this. We love recommendations. So, and if you ever want to come back and something you're excited about, or if you just tell us your work that's out there, tag us on Twitter and we'll definitely share it.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. So, Mark, how can people find us?
Well, we've simplified things a little bit. So we are closing down, I suppose, all the offshot Twitter accounts, or not kind of decommissioning. I think we're trying to fold everything into just at Secret Friends U. So that's going to cover the whole Secret Friends network. We thought, there's 4 of us, and we're trying to run 4 different Twitter accounts alongside our own personal Twitter accounts, and it was just kind of like, are we seeing any traction, or is it better to kind of combine them all? So we're gonna at least test drive this and see how people like it. Everything just coming through one feed. So that is going to be at Secret Friends U. That's where you're gonna find co-op mode. That's where you're gonna find Secret Friends Unite. That's where you're gonna find Code 47 and Holocron Chronicles, all under one big network. So follow at Secret Friends U on Twitter. That's where you're gonna get all the good stuff. You can also find me at _Canardian and Todd at _Oxtra.
Yeah, so if you want baby pictures, go to Mark's. If you want food pictures, look at mine and my rants against the bad cable provider I have.
And now that Todd's opened up these floodgates of anger, I'm sure I'll have some angry rants and have to post some cute baby pictures to compensate for that. But aside from Twitter, you can also subscribe and rate us, follow us on YouTube and other podcasting services, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you have your podcast preference. We also have shirts and other great merch over at TeePublic. All of that goes towards local charities that Charlie belongs to down in the States, which is awesome. I love any kind of little bump we can get to help some people in need is great. So go check us out on any of those services, and of course follow us the Secret Friends Unite Facebook group as well.
With that, Mark, Angela, it's been a pleasure. Listeners, we'll see you in 2 more weeks, and with that, it's always better to game together.
Each of us, there burns the fury of a warrior. In every generation, a few are chosen to prove it.
One of you 3 will decide the outcome of the tournament.
3 strangers will travel to the mystical realm of Outworld to defend our people against Shang Tsung.
You will die.
And his forces of darkness in an ancient tournament. One more victory.
Your soul is mine.
And our world